At this point, you will meet security officers, right, who will be asking for several items. First, they will be asked that the temperature be checked. Then they will make sure that you have a mask and inform you that you have to have your mask throughout the process. Then they will check documentation to ensure that you have business at the airport, whether it's to clear cargo, whether it's to travel, whether it's to work. Your ID would suffice to say you're working here. So several forms of document will be asked for to ensure that you have business at RLB. And they will take your temperature and record it. Of course, if your temperature is high, you cannot come in. All right? They will ask you to pull aside and they'll give you a second check. If it's still high, then you will not be given permission to come into the airport. Our passenger now will come through and go in the parking lot. If she is not traveling, she'll come right through the parking lot and not stop, just drop off whoever is to be dropped off. There are 2 drop-off points in the parking lot for travelers and right across here if you are a worker. So if you're a worker, you stay here and then they double back and go back out. If you're a passenger, the drop-off is over there and whoever drops you off comes back out and go back out. So there is no leisure parking or walking around or driving around at the airport. Let's go now. The parking lot is divided into several sections. And we have our security officer here who will be able to give you a brief as to the different parking areas in the parking lot. Mr. Louis Henry.
Just to carry on from where Miss Bowles left off, the flow as you leave the gate will take you, as she said, if you're someone doing business on the inside, whether you're walking, clearing cargo, or traveling, you will keep at the perimeter, which is the outer lane. That will take you into the parking area. The security officer here serves as a backup, communicate with the main gate to inform of what the person is expected to do. For instance, you might have a situation where someone has not been granted access, and because of this, they would have been directed to flow back in the path just behind you to go back through the gate. But someone might just decide, hey look, I'm going to continue on and get on the inside. The officer that is stationed here to prevent such happenings. There will be communication between the officer at this point and the one at the main gate and give directions as to what should happen with the person entering. So we flow straight along. The idea of the flow is to create a U-flow, okay, where the traffic is always traveling in the same direction whether you're going east or west. So if you're flowing westward, and we're walking westward right now, all of the traffic should be coming this way, following this route, and at the entrance on the other side, which is on the extreme end, western end of the parking lot, would bring you into the area where your designated parking is. Okay? For cruise, and I think we can cross over, we don't really need to bother. This section here where the taxis usually park. Now, the area here on the southern end, which is on my right, just after the taxi stand is the area where the taxi parked previously. Now this area really would be left vacant unless there is a case where there's a requirement for a large number of taxis and there's an overflow from the parking lot that's designated for taxis, which was the previous VIP area. So the taxis that are waiting to be called would wait along this flat, so to speak. Okay? We can cross over. Our parking area, which comprises of 2 sections also. We refer to them as the back and the front, but later on they will be labeled so that for ease of location. In the back, we have parking, as you can see the sign is there, we have parking for tenants, which stretch some 18 parking lots. They have parking for rentals, which is in the southeastern corner, and that again is behind us. And where we are standing is really a flow point. So the drop-off, as it happens, would take place along this stretch immediately in front of the check-in area. It starts at the extreme end, western end of the terminal, and ends at this point right in front of the customs area. So this entire area will remain free of vehicles. So there is no parking allowed in that area. You come, you do your drop off, and you leave. There are cases where persons would come, they're the ones traveling, they want to check in and move on quickly. We also have provided for that. We have provided for that in a small area, just in the second parking area that is being provided for. There are 3 lanes because it's not expected for the person to stay very long. So they'll do their check-in, move out, and then obviously they will return when they're ready to travel. The flow is made easy because at present we're still conducting some work to make the parking lot, which will make the parking lot a lot more efficient in terms of the flow. So for now, where they're entering, they're also exiting. By the end of the day, that should be no longer because we will make provision on the east side, area particular, for persons to flow out. So no matter where you're in the parking lot, you flow in that one easterly direction. So those in the back would flow back this way and exit near the ticket. The area that is on our northeastern side is an area that was designated for the bubble pickup. That is something still under discussion. So until that discussion is completed and a decision has been taken about this bubble, that parking will be left vacant and will be used if necessary. But that had been the designated area for people in the bubble. And this is because the bubble persons, as we understood it, were being able to move freely. And so we would have allowed for some private pickup in that case. But that is on hold, and for now that parking will be left vacant. The taxis and tolls, if tolls are allowed to come in at this time, would be parked in the area that was once the VIP parking. So that parking area would be left vacant for that specific purpose. If you're here on Saturday, when we get that first flight, you would see the arrangement better and understand it. All the taxis that are COVID ready, based on information from tourism, all the taxis that are considered to be COVID ready, only those vehicles will be allowed, or taxis will be allowed on the compound. Okay? And those vehicles will be parked in that general area to see their passengers. The passengers will come out of the customs area and flow eastward, and there would not be any mixing because we have created a barrier which is like a virtual wall here, where we don't want anybody traveling or those departing, those arriving, mixing. So they should be passing over. All the persons coming in from high-risk areas will be controlled in this area.
The airport manager momentarily, this is her domain, but just as you see, the driveway here that traffic used to flow through, one is no longer a drive-through area. It has been barricaded, so that means everybody has to go through the parking lot. Whatever business you came to do, you have to go back to the parking lot, and the fee is $2. Okay? So it's been barricaded. However, if we have an emergency vehicle has to come in, they would come in through that way, come back through where they're supposed to exit, they come back up through this way, so that they'll be closer to the terminal building. But all being equal, no traffic, because we need the space in case we have to social distance passengers traveling, and the maximum amount, the ceiling amount in there has already been met, and they have to line up outside here. Then we need this space so that they could be socially distanced when they're queuing up. All right. So now I'm going to turn over to Joy Richardson, the airport manager, acting, Joy, because now we are at the point where we are entering into the terminal. They're greeted by customer service, who will check the documents to verify that they can enter the terminal and direct them to the airline that they'll be checking in for departure. So we're going to follow passenger. The passenger will enter the terminal building, will be greeted by customer service. Will check the documents to verify which airline will be used, and they will be directed to the airline. Counters are fitted with the sneeze guard to protect the agent and also the passenger. Once completed, the passenger will proceed to the departure lounge. Here, the passenger will be checked by security for documents.
Say it again.
The passenger will be checked for documents. Once cleared by security, the passenger will proceed to immigration. By immigration, they proceed to security screening.
The last step before the entering the departure lounge and await boarding instructions. With a mask and a face shield, gloves, and sneeze guards at the Once a passenger is cleared, they finish the screening and they enter the departure lounge and await boarding instructions. Instructions to board the aircraft. They will board to gates 1 to 4 and documents will be shown. And they are free to board the aircraft for departure.
Yeah, I follow you, man.
We're now going to transition. That has been the process. Arrival at the gate and to check-in and to screening and departure. So now we are transitioning and our passenger will now go through our welcome center. When they have just landed in St. Kitts and they're now going to go to the welcome center and the entire process of ensuring that any passenger that comes to St. Kitts is properly checked for this deadly coronavirus. And you see all the measures that are in place that the government and the Ministry of Health and SCASPA collaborate put in place to ensure that the risk is as minimal as possible. So when the flight comes in, the health personnel will go, of course, on board first to do their procedures. The health personnel will go on board to do their health procedures, and then the passengers disembark, and we're heading that way with the passengers. The passenger would have filled in all of the necessary information online with the app that has been provided by the health department, and so processing should not be as long as we would expect with the situation that we're in, because a lot of the processing would have been done online. The forms and the testing documentation would have been submitted online. So when the passenger comes, we go through to the welcome center. This is the transparent tent that you see here. It's the welcome center. It's fully air conditioned, and so therefore the temperature would be regulated, and so that when they are checked, they will not have to and they'll have a customer service agent who will be directing the flow of the traffic in and out of the welcome center. Huh? Nadia.
Walk back up.
Locust. There'll be confectionery stand on the right. Right now, there is a company that is the welcome center much cooler, and the hinges will be attached to the door to make it automatic. There will be no touching once you enter it or leaving the welcome center. Customer service agent, they proceed to the screening in the arrival. Once entering the mechanical screening, in the arrival hall, you'll be greeted by a customer service agent who will direct you. Here, the customer, sanitize their hands before proceeding. As you can see, the customer service agent is fully equipped with mask and face shield. Here, the passenger will be entering the health screening area.
This is the new screening area that's been transformed. It was
In this
previously
screening area, we have 4 court health booths where the
one, two,
passengers will be screened.
Come on, Dave.
Is it okay? Once given the okay, the customer will proceed to immigration. However, if the person shows symptoms, they will be required to perform a PCR test, which will be done in this booth on the right. Also, if they are high risk, they will now proceed down this aisle where they will be carried into the isolation center, which is on the ramp. Isolation center. Everyone walking up all the time. Information Center will be fitted and continue. Isolation center fitted with two testing rooms and two isolation rooms fitted with beds. Passenger is cleared by
Voilà. Excuse me? Come back a bit. Come back a bit. You know me.
one in the shop. Yep, in the shop. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Once the passenger is cleared vital and showing a low risk, they'll enter immigration. When they will, in immigration, they will be processed.
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you? Barbados. Yeah.
Here, the talk about the protective visa, lab, and the safety. From officers and direct passengers. In this area, table that is provided for further screening, safeguard, and officer protection of a bound The passenger will come down building and proceed.
Careful. I'll take this go real. Yeah. We'll just go up. We'll just zoom in on the taxi sign and that's it. We'll just cut the process. We'll just cut it there.